sex before marriage. And
I don't think they want to hear that right now. I don't think they don't want to hear it. They know. Go ahead.
I mean, yo,
I'm gonna let you do your thing. Do your
You know
thing.
what I'm
Let's
saying?
go. Yo, que lo que mi gente? My name is Ray Moda, and I'm here with
Sherrod Ely, aka just Rod.
just Rod, okay? And so we are here to talk about the marriage life. What? How do you feel about that?
Bruh, it's amazing. A great experience, bruh. But we gonna get deep, dude.
So we are gonna get deep. Alright, so straight to the point, basically what we're gonna be talking about is what it feels to be married, right? What it feels to be a man in a marriage life. Okay? And so let's just get straight to it. Let's not make them wait.
Okay, cool.
Alright, let's get to it.
Let's hop in it, man.
So talk to me. How long you been married?
Been married for 1 year. We're coming on 2 years come November.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Time flies, right?
so yeah, man. So we're still most definitely in the honeymoon stage, but we have most definitely within a short period of time faced some challenges, man. You know what I mean? Again, I can honestly say, I got an amazing wife.
She cool. That's my Disney partner. You know. Let it go. Let it go.
Most definitely, yo. I have an amazing wife. And even though that we face certain issues, it's when we come back to the table, conversations are amazing. And when we overcome a situation, like it really feels like we've overcame it. You know what I'm saying? Even if sometimes we have to step back and re-dive into it, it's like continuously always feels like we're making progress. So I gotta say, man, it's tight, it's amazing, and I'm enjoying it, man.
So now I do have a question.
Okay.
What do you mean the table when you bring it back to the table?
Because a lot of the times we turn around and we look at marriage in a way I know I have. I've been married before, so this is my second marriage.
So we got something in common, right?
Yeah. Always just thinking that once we discuss something, it's never gonna come back up. You know what I'm saying? And when it does come back up, it's like one of those things where we're like, yo, well, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? Sort of kind of hopping into it, we're always thinking that, well, when we had that first discussion, that we discussed all parts of it. You know what I mean? But we're only discussing a layer.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so the next discussion may come back when you come back to that table, you know what I'm saying, to rediscuss, it may dive a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? To the point to where the whole purpose of that discussion or disagreement was actually layered someplace else. Okay. But we got to be willing to continuously come back to that table and to discuss, so that way we can break down the real issue. And it takes time.
Yeah, because I be going through the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with my wife,
mm-hmm.
Again, amazing woman.
Yes.
Right, smart. A lot of patience. Because
mm-hmm.
to deal with me, you need patience, man. I'm the fourth child in the house. All right.
Word, dude.
No, but so sometimes it's never the right time to talk,
mm-hmm.
right? But for sure, it's not the right time to talk when you're in the heat of the moment.
Yes.
So it is always good to be able to step back, give the space, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we are gonna come back to this.
Yes.
I know you're mad right now. Let's come back to this.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be able to, like you said, put everything down, peel that layer up, make sure that there's nothing underneath, so you will continue going and moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
But it's marriage is tough.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you look, difficult, man.
Most certainly, bro. If you're looking for it to be glamorous and pretty and as seen on TV, then you ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? Because again, with anything, bro, it's so many different layers, and it's crazy because, and even though I'm learning now, you know, a lot of the times we think that once we reach this certain plateau, well, I got 38 years in the game, so we're good. You know what I'm saying? Like we're golden. And it's one of those things like, nah, bro, you still got to continue to put in work because as you're growing, your relationship's growing. You know what I mean? And we're going into different stages. So it's always that continuously work. And to the day, how I'm looking at it is it's always going to be continuous growing into the day I take my last breath. You know what I'm saying?
Question: what advice do you give those people that are looking into jumping into a marriage? The first one, and then what advice do you give to those that are jumping to their second marriage?
Really and truthfully, man, I gotta say, before immediately getting into your second marriage, taking the time to really review yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you don't want to bring in that same baggage that you had in that first one. You know what I'm saying? So you got to really take some time with yourself and to unload, because it's so many different things that you can learn from that first, I'm not going to say mistake, but
it's taking responsibility.
yes, taking
responsibility. Yeah, kind of accountability. Yeah, as well.
Yes.
Of what you did wrong, right? Because it takes two people to break a marriage apart.
Yes.
Right. It's not only always one. It takes two. Right. It could have been because of lack of communication. It could have been because of lack of intimacy, or whatever the case may be. It takes two.
Most deaf.
Right. Sometimes, because that's another thing is that it's easy for me to blame you for something that for breaking this commitment that we decided to come into, right?
Yes.
And I could blame you all day long.
Most definitely.
You at fault. You cheated. You did this. You did that, right? But at no given moment am I taking accountability or responsibility for my actions,
yes.
right? I'm not taking account. I chose you first of all. When you choose somebody, right, and you talking smack about somebody, it talks more about your person and your ability to choose than it does of the other person.
Yo, that's the truth. For real, that's 100.
And I see that all the time. People like, oh no, yo, man, my ex-wife, man, she was, my ex-husband. And they'll go down. I'm like, okay, time out. Well, what did you do? Oh no, he cheated on me. I'm like, okay, but what part did you play? I chose my wife. My wife is not perfect. I'm not perfect. My wife does a lot of things that I don't like, right? But then my question is, what part am I playing? What am I doing to ensure that I'm actually playing my part as a husband and ensuring that my wife has that safety and that security net, right?
Okay.
Whether or not she's doing whatever she's doing, right? I don't have control of her action. I have control of mine.
Yes.
And through my actions, I could actually influence how she responds.
Most certainly. That's. Go ahead.
So if I'm not playing my part and I'm being petty, because I feel that's a lot of what a lot of people do when they marry. They just petty.
Yeah.
And because you're not doing this, you're not doing that, so I'm not gonna do X, Y, and Z. So it's like two wrongs is not gonna make a right.
No, that's 100%. And that's again, by no means want to turn around and just share. If you are in a facing man or a woman facing domestic violence, please seek help. You don't deserve it. It's not something that is condoned. It's not something that that is okay. Period. Point blank.
At all.
But speaking on that, yeah, you have to ask yourself, you know what I'm saying? Once you're out of that situation, you have to sit down and say, okay, cool. So why did I stay for so long? You know what I mean? And I mean, because I mean, again, let's really
When
talk.
is enough?
You know, it's easy to turn around and just say, well, I felt threatened, which you do. I'm a child and I grew up in a domestic violence home.
I know what that feels like.
But you still have to take the time and you have to review. Why am I staying? You know what I'm saying? Why didn't I stay? Why didn't I get out? You know what I mean? Because again, you can end up in that same situation if you don't take time and take accountability and end up in that same situation because you won't see the signs. You know what I mean? So it's very important for us to turn around and to do a reflection. You know what I'm saying? Well, why didn't my first marriage turn around and work? And it's easier just to say, well, if that person would have been perfect, cool, we would have been able to rock.
We're not condoning divorce or anything like that by any means, okay? We want to put that out there, but if you are in a toxic relationship, in a toxic marriage, please don't stay. If your life depends on it, don't stay. We'll make sure, because hey,
I mean 100%, and I mean in that category, that's a whole other
that's a whole
topic right there, bro. Like
by itself.
like prayerfully we get the opportunity to be able to dive in, because so often the ones possibly, and then it's, again, not condoning divorce, but possibly have the right to leave their spouse, those are the ones that are staying. Unfortunately.
Those are the ones that are
You know what I'm
dying.
saying?
Those are the ones that.
But the ones that are capable of working out their relationships, those are the ones that are divorcing.
Which makes no sense.
Bro, again, and that's where you do clear things you have to turn around and check. And it goes on both sides, men and women.
Yep.
Am I physically being abused? Am I emotionally being abused? Am I mentally being abused? Cover physical. Again, then those are reasons for you to be able to step away. You know what I'm saying? Is it cheating? You know what I'm saying? Is this person an excessive cheater? You know what I mean? And can we really just work it out? But again, on taking accountability.
Yeah, it's like, why? I'm not condoning cheating, but why is he cheating?
You have to ask.
Do you have kids? Are you putting the kids first? That's another topic. Putting the kids first, right? Is all your attention, right, and energy going just to the kids, right? And that you're pushing your significant other to the side, okay? And you're not even noticing, because that's the thing, is that you're not noticing it. You're just tired, and as soon as your significant other comes home, hey babe, I'm so exhausted. I have a headache. I have this, and it becomes an everyday thing, right? So like you need to start looking into like, okay, why am I doing? Okay, whether or not you want to work it out at that point, but still come back. Decipher what are you doing. So if you decide to divorce because the person did you wrong, that you go to the next your next relationship or your next marriage, and you don't repeat the same thing, because guess what's gonna happen? The same exact thing. Why? Because you can't continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. A lot of people don't understand that.
And that's exactly what I was going to turn around and most definitely touch on, is that so many times we haven't evaluated. And so because we haven't evaluated the things that we've done. So I turn around and I look at it like this, bro. Is I have a learning curve. Okay, so I have lessons, I have mistakes that I've made, things that I've done in my marriage. So I know and experience it in the first marriage. Okay, cool. These are some of the things that you don't do. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to give you positive results.
At all.
You know what I mean? And I want to be careful because then some people will be like, well, you're using some of the old things from your first marriage and you're putting them in your new marriage. And that can turn around and it can be touchy, you know what I'm saying? But you can take some of those positives, you know what I'm saying? And yes, because again, anybody that sits down with me and they turn around and start talking to the marriage and they're like, yo, my whole marriage was trash and my whole marriage was garbage and everything else. So then that's sort of kind of like a head scratcher, like, hold on, wait a second. So how'd you even turn around? How'd y'all even get how'd you even get on marriage?
In the beginning.
In the beginning, when in the date process, it should have showed all signs of being horrible, right? So now we're turning around.
You got all these flags, and you still marry the person?
Okay, cool. And so now what I'm going to turn around and sort of kind of touch on, and again, I'm not saying that it's easy. Let's touch on for those that turn around and coming into marriage. Okay, you want to get married. And I know this sounds redundant, and again, I'm guilty, bro, because again, I have a past. You know what I'm saying? Sex before marriage. And
I don't think they want to hear that right now. I don't think they don't want to hear it. They know. Go ahead.
I mean, yo,
I'm gonna let you do your thing. Do your
you know
thing.
what I'm
Let's
saying?
go.
So, and I'm speaking from a perspective of a man that did have sex before marriage, in my first marriage. And we turn around and we talk about flags. You know what I'm saying? And not turn around and like, okay, let's play the game and let's not place any blame. So we'll turn around and say flags that possibly could have been flags that maybe she could have seen. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, this brother got some issues that he hasn't yet dealt with.
But sex is good though.
There we go. You know what I'm saying? But
sex is great.
Hey, yo, it's amazing. And so often that's exactly what we turn around and do because we're having sex. We're like, well,
everything's amazing. You got for anything when you're having sex.
You're like, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, this is a major issue. Well, okay, well, after we have sex, we'll turn around and we'll talk about it. Yo, this is mind blowing. And you never turn around and discuss any problems. And then what ends up happening is you're missing to really get to know this person. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the beautiful thing when you take sex out the picture before marriage, you're really getting to know them. And you're really turn around and able to say like, yo, okay, can I really do life with this person? Because I'm getting to know this person intimately without being intimate. So often.
That's another level of intimacy though.
Yes.
So we can't wave that out as not intimacy. That's complete intimacy at its finest.
It is, but in truth be told, for men, okay, it feels like it's the most important part, but that part of intimacy is very small. But
you know why men thinks that the sex is so big and so important. Not only because we are, full of awesome, right?
Yeah.
And we like to be able, but because through the sexual intimacy, right? We are touched, we're held, we're able to be, vulnerable. That's the word, right?
Yes. We're
able to just let our guard down.
Okay, go ahead, my dude.
For us to be able to connect, right? Because in theory, we're not getting that
Okay.
completely
Uh-huh.
from our spouses, right?
Uh-huh.
So it becomes an abundance of just touching, and we desire that, right?
Okay.
It
Okay.
doesn't matter how macho man we think we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are the most. Hey, I'm talking personally, okay? The most sensitive being,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And you give us just that little thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, if my wife will walk by me,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
and just caress my head,
Mm-hmm.
she made my whole day.
Okay.
See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because we desire that touch,
Okay.
right? That's where we find security at and all that stuff. And it's hard, and it's sad that when people get married,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we have children,
Mm-hmm.
all that stops
Okay.
slowly,
Yes.
right? And you don't get it often, right? You don't get it often, right? Yes, you're sometimes and then the other part is that sometimes you have a good sex life,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's not great because there's sometimes, because the spouse might feel that, let's just check the block.
Okay, cool. So then let's turn around and let's get back into intimacy before the physical intimacy. The importance, and this is the thing that I'm still learning and still chipping
It's
away
not
at.
perfect, people.
You know what I'm saying? One of the things with the importance of having that intimacy before having sex and waiting is because you're learning how to turn around and talk. Those walls, you're learning how to break them down. So that way, when you find that when you get married, that person knows layers of you. You know what I'm saying? Before marriage. You know what I mean? They know who you really are.
No. And they also know to let you go before you guys get married. Because if you gave, especially women, right, the body is the temple.
Mm-hmm.
The body is like a beautiful thing because
Mm-hmm.
through them is where we are able to fertilize the seed,
Mm-hmm.
have babies, and populate the world.
Okay.
Right? And the woman typically controls a lot of what like drive the emotional factor in the home.
Okay.
Right?
Now,
I agree. And if a woman would take their time, you don't have to do this, but if a woman would take their time, right? Instead of them liking a guy within a week, within 2 weeks, a month, sleeping with a guy, right? They wait 5 months, 6 months, until marriage. All the people that are all the men that just come in and just for their body, to have sex with them will fall off. Because a lot of people will not stay. Only the people that truly want to get to know you is the people that's gonna stay. So
that's true.
And then that's because then you get to that level of personal intimacy that you know each other.
Because y'all both know that you both have the same common goal, that you guys want to wait until you're married. To have sex.
I did it with my wife.
Now, and then that's true fact. And I mean, again, and just want to make it clear, it's still tough. Still very much so difficult.
Yeah,
because
we made out of this.
You know what I'm saying? The more, because it also, the more you get to know that person, the more that desire of intimacy, it continues to turn around and it begins to grow. You know what I'm saying? To where you're like, yo, like, I don't know if you ever remember, you ever have one of those dope conversations, you know what I'm saying? Back when y'all was just dating and you're like, yo, you look even more dope to me than what you looked before. Like, daggone, I really just want to kiss you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you're an amazing person. And see, and that's intimacy. But the thing about it is, and what we have to turn around and try to remember is that's the important intimacy that goes into marriage, where you guys are still having that communication, and you're like, yo, I know a part of you, yo, I'm learning a part of you I haven't seen no more. Sweetie, you look so sexy. You know what I'm saying? And your vulnerability. And it takes time for us to be able to realize also, I have to create a safe space for us to be able to be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? So like you said before, your response is so important. Because the way that you respond, that's turning around and letting that person, is it okay for me to continue to communicate with you? You know what I'm saying? And that's where real intimacy, where I can tell you something that has really been hurting me, maybe going to hurt you, and how you respond to it, that is going to turn around and create if I can continue to talk to you and I can't talk to you. And that's where it took me a long time, again, past and still learning in the present. When you hear the word, well, I can't talk to you about this.
You're never gonna understand.
You're never going to understand. And see, and that's where, you know, having to grow up and be mature enough to step back and say, can they really talk to me? Am I really creating a safe space? Even though I don't agree, can I still create that safe space? And a lot of the times, bro, we can't communicate because we're first not even creating that safe space. So, and these are the things that, again, before marriage, we have that opportunity to be able to learn without having that sex part put into it, because that sex is a blocker.
I'd imagine.
You know what I'm saying?
Tell me, because that's so. You go back in time, right? You used to go start when you were, you know, dating and all that stuff, you know, prior to your marriage. Now, once you had sex, I promise you, go read every other text message you sent out. Oh, I can't wait to see you because of X, Y, and Z. I can't wait to sit. And then when you see each other and whatnot, it's like this, you know, that takes place first.
Most definitely.
Right? And that destroys, you know, your ability to actually get to know each other. And you get blindsided, right? Because now you're thinking, your mind is being, like you said, being blocked by just that connection versus this connection.
Yes. And even with that, like, okay, and then let's say, and again, this is not to turn around and to say, well, okay, cool. If we wait to have sex and then get married, everything's gonna be smooth.
BS.
You know what I'm saying? Sex life is gonna
still
be
gonna
amazing.
Marriage is still gonna be tough, right? You know, the beauty of marriage is that the beauty of marriage to me, okay, not, and don't mess up my words, people. The beauty of marriage is the ability to wanting to tell your significant other, get the out of here, alone, right? But yet you realize that with that person, once you guys are good, you guys are able to create empires. Because that's the thing, is that it's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be, you know, like those Hallmark movies, right? Like the Happy Ever After. It's not gonna be a Disney movie, right? But if you're able to connect with your significant other, right? And when I'm saying connect, is that you should be mentally said that you want to fulfill every desire that your significant other has, right? And vice versa.
Yes.
Not checking the block. You should want to. You should desire to. You should be like, I should be able to come up to you and be like, babe, look, what do you need this week from me? What are your desires this week from me? Right? What are your needs and wants this week? Right? And automatically, once you tell me, I shouldn't try. Look, there's nothing that gets me more mad than somebody telling me, "Oh, I tried." You know because when you try because you don't want to do it. When you try to do something, it's because you don't want to do it. You're either gonna do it and fail, and then you're gonna do it again.
Cool.
You're not just gonna try because you're gonna have acid. You're gonna do it, right? You can't try to rub somebody's head. You freaking rub the goddamn head. Whether or not I like the freaking rub that you did, right? Because it was mediocre to in my perspective. I want some, I want something like pull, like, let me know you're there, right?
Word.
I was like, for example, like I asked my wife the other day, like, "Hey babe, can you scratch my back?" And she's like this. "Hey, are you gonna scratch my back?" Like, scratch my back. Just go ahead and do it. See what I mean? Don't. Right? Do it. That's my thing. Don't tell me you're trying. Because when you tell me you're trying, it's because you do not want to do it.
Okay.
Because when you want something, like let's say you want water, do you try to go get water?
No, you go do everything you can to
You
go get that water.
Get some water. Right? You go open the door and whatnot. You don't be like, "Oh man, I tried to get the water. I just couldn't reach it." Are you kidding me? Look at todo el mundo. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you truly enjoyed this video, I would love for you guys to come in and subscribe to the channel, share, and also comment and leave any question that you would like for us to answer next time we conduct the video. Again, we're trying to create a safe zone for us men to be able to come in together and provide that comfort for you to be able to open up, be yourself, and create an environment of support for us men. Okay, so go ahead and subscribe. Rain Moda out.